I forgot to put myself in the room. Welcome back to the Immigration Answers Show. I am Jim Hacking. This is episode number 411, the 411. We got the info. This is the info line, 411. We got the info on immigration. Hope you all are doing well. Today is Wednesday, the 9th day of August. I hope you all have had a good week so far and that you have a good rest of the week. This is our second show of the week. We'll do one tomorrow at 3 p.m. and tomorrow's at 2 p.m. and Friday's at 3 p.m. There we go. Thank you, Hooli. Tomorrow, 2 p.m. Central, Friday, 3 p.m. Central. So a little bit early, but we got a lot going on. We got, just a programming note. In the weeks to come, you might see more shows in the middle of the day. Nor is playing softball, and it appears that she'll be having some games at 4 o'clock. And I'll be at those games instead of hanging out here with you. So we'll do the show earlier or later. How are you doing? What's going on in your world? Let us know in the comments where you're watching from. I got my good friend Hooli Alec watching the comments. Let us know where you're watching from. Let us know what's going on in your world. We will be here for the next hour trying to answer some immigration law-related questions. I dropped a new video today, or hopefully a new video dropped. Let me make sure that my son posted it. For those of you who don't know, my son Ismail is our video editor. Yep, looks like our new video is up. It's doing fine. Okay. So that new video is on whether or not you should apply for the N400 to get your 751 moving. And I talk it all through in that video. What's going on? What is on your mind? Tope's here, Munir's here, Jones here, Sheena's here. Yeah, let us know where you're watching from. Let us know what's going on in your neck of the woods. I've got to get this show started with the very creatively and aptly named USCIS sucks. What do you say, USCIS sucks?
Yeah, I just want to complain. So I got my 485 denied by USCIS.
How come?
Because they said that it was a failure of receiving their they sent an RFE, and they said they never received it, even though we have a FedEx showing that they signed for it.
Yeah.
So because they said they didn't receive it, even though we have proof that they received it, they denied it. So now
when was the denial?
I barely got it last week on Thursday.
What jurisdiction issued the denial notice?
I'm from California, so I'm not really sure.
Like the denial notice would have come from an office. Do you know what office it came from?
No, but yeah. So right now it's me and my lawyer doing we're doing an appeal. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. I can fix this much faster than a 290B.
Really? Because my lawyer's Tim.
Tim from here?
Yeah.
Oh.
He sent me an email saying that we should do a 290B.
Like well, we can't. Well, yeah, but I was talking to Tim. I can't talk about things about clients' cases, but right. Generally, there is a faster way, which is to sue or threaten to sue the office for making a clear mistake. So, I can't talk about your particular case because we're on the air, but I know that there have been discussions about doing that in yours and in certain cases in the office. So that's all I can say about
that. Okay. Okay, well, yeah, that's all I just want to complain about. If they're
okay, I'll check with Tim later on.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, I just can't. I didn't realize how badly they can mess up.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the reasons why it's so important that you did what you did and that what we did, what we do, which is to always keep proof that you delivered stuff.
Yeah, and I was actually lucky, like to have a lawyer because he had a connection with the State Department, a U.S. attorney. So if you guys have the money, definitely have a lawyer's worth it.
A direct line. Yep. All right. Yeah. Thanks so much.
Yeah. Bye.
We'll follow up. See you, bud. All right. Let's say hi to Ibrahim. What do you say, Ibrahim?
Hey, Jim. Thanks for giving me the chance.
Sure.
Yeah, I live in Denver. I work for a company. I'm a lead software developer, and I'm on F1. And my company was trying to apply for my green card EB2. I have my master's. But the lawyers were kind of pushing back, saying that you don't have 5 years worth of experience and whatnot, so that the USCIS might reject your application, or we might get a lot of applicants for job posting for the labor certification and whatnot. So that uh, they're just saying it's pretty hard and then pushing back. And I just wanted to get a second opinion. That is it true what they're saying?
Why are you talking about if so you're on OPT?
Yes, I'm on OPT. This is my second OPT because I came to the United States on my bachelor's. I worked for 3 years. I went for my master's. Now I got my OPT again.
Right, but why are you talking about OPT and not an H-1B? Did they apply for you in the lottery?
I've been applying for the past like 4 or 5 years and didn't got my name, and I was trying to push them to just go straight for the green card.
It's almost impossible to go from OPT to a green card. I think that's a bad plan. And I think that if you're just recently graduated, that the idea that you're going to be able to pull this off and maintain status, I mean, so basically you're going to try to get the green card on file. They haven't started the labor certification process. I don't see how this is going to work. I think that their concerns are well placed.
I see. I do have like my OPT remaining for 3 years. Don't you think that?
Oh, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I mean, if you just got your master's and you don't have a lot of real world experience and they think they're going to get a lot of applicants from U.S. citizens and green card holders, then certainly they're concerned about the labor certification process is legit.
I do have 3 years of experience on my first OPT.
Yeah, right. I understand. I'm just saying.
Okay.
You know, I don't know the market for software developers in Denver, but if your employer's lawyers are pushing back, I don't think they're full of shit. I'll say that. I think that they are probably raising valid points.
I see. I've had some friends who have done the same path, got their green cards. So okay.
It could work. I'm just saying. I'm not dismissing what they're saying out of hand. I think you've got to think it all through. And of course, it's their decision, not yours, and it's their money, not yours. So sort of they sort of control the narrative. I'm not going to come here and say they're wrong and they're making a big mistake. If I thought they were, I would, but I don't.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you.
Bye, Ibrahim. See you, buddy. Ernesto is back. What do you say, Ernesto?
Hello, Jim. How you doing?
I'm good, buddy. How you doing?
Thank you for having me. So here I am. So just a quick question. As you know, my case, my green card and my waiver is still, we're still waiting for after we were able to to sue them. So, but here's the thing. I went to my driver license got expired. And then every time I have to get my driver license, they have to run a background check on me with the USCIS. And this time was a little different. So DMV provide me a number, and I have to call them 4 weeks just to verify the status of my work permit.
Mm-hmm.
So I called them back after 4 weeks, and then the person over the phone who worked in the verification department from the DMV told me they checked my my paperwork with the USCIS and shows that my green card has been approved, and they are asking for the physical green card. But of course, I don't have it. I checked the website, and the website is frozen. It doesn't say much about my case. I called USCIS. I spoke with a tier 2 officer. Nobody knows anything.
Mm-hmm.
What are the odds that the DMV is lying about my green card has been approved? Because they haven't released my ID because they are waiting for me to provide the physical green card, because they say they checked the system with USCIS and my green card has been approved, which is a great news, but nobody said anything, and I don't know what to do at this point. What do you think? Did that happened before, or it's just unique case?
Well, I don't believe anything that anybody at USCIS says about a pending case, whether it's a U.S. senator calling, whether it's the DMV calling. I will say this. I think it's a good sign that they said that. I think it doesn't really matter, though, because nothing matters till you have the actual green card. I have videos on this. I don't believe anything until you have the actual green card. Until you have the actual green card, your life doesn't change. So I would say, that's interesting. That's a little bit of data that we might have. It might be a good sign that it's on its way to being approved, but if the portal doesn't say it's approved, if USCIS doesn't say it's approved, and most importantly, if you don't have an approval notice and the green card, then whatever they're saying, it doesn't really matter to me.
That's right. Yeah, I'm completely in the same boat. And well, I guess there's nothing else we can do. That was all. That was the only question I have, and then we're still waiting for. I believe last time I spoke with you, 2 years, right? After we applied, there's 2 years, and then if we don't hear
Yeah.
anything, I'm ready to sue. All right, Jim. Well, nice to nice to say hi to you, and then thank you very much for everything. Okay.
Bye, buddy. Talk to you soon.
Bye bye.
That's our old friend Ernesto. He's living large and he's living sideways, in case you didn't notice. DG is here. What do you say, DG?
Hey, Jim, nice to see you again. Thank you so much for helping me out the previous time. I appreciate it. Real quick one, I mean, it's not a quick one, actually. The case where I have the employer that has sponsored me for an EB3 visa, and then it turned out that that employer doesn't have a EIN number, that hasn't submitted an EIN number. Now, the lawyer didn't really stop him doing that. He was supposed to check all the documents and all that stuff, and so they let him apply with it. What I'm thinking right now, I just want to see if I'm wrong or if I'm correct in thinking this. If in any miracle, right, this case actually gets approved under perm right now, because it's under perm and it's being denied and we're reconsidering it and all that stuff. If any miracle happens, this gets approved. I then go to US to a visa interview, and I'm pretty sure that they're going to reject me anyway, because they're going to check the FEIN number and there isn't any. So I'm thinking to myself that, is there even any way, any reason to continue this, or just like scrap it all? Because I'm taking the side of, of the officer that's going to approve me. How are they going to know that this is a real?
I think you're spinning your wheels. I mean, to me, so I've obtained probably in my life 40 EIN numbers. Back when I first started practicing law, I would help corporations sort of form their LLC or their S corp or whatever, and we would apply for the EIN. It takes
2 seconds.
2 seconds. Like, it literally, when you're done with the clickety click, you get the EIN letter right then. Yeah. So I'm not so, I mean, one, I guess that does sort of concern me that for some reason they can't pull off the EIN number. The bigger issue is, why the F can't they pull off an EIN number? There's something wrong. This is the thing here is, it's just a sign that something shady is going on. Have you sent them any money?
No money. But is there any change if they apply for the EIN number? Is that going to be like, because they already applied with an SSN. We know that on the application it's an SSN. We confirm that. If they apply for an EIN number, then
so the question is it fatally flawed because it started with an SSN? Can it be fixed with an EIN? I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know. I mean, generally, I would probably say, me, I like to take away reasons for them to say no. So if it's not too far down the track, which it doesn't seem it's terribly down the track, if I were advising them, I would say, look, I don't want this EIN number to come up later. I don't want them to say we have a fundamentally flawed
That's great.
LC. So I would probably start over. I would probably withdraw this application, get a new EIN number, and then start legit. Just because if you and I are scratching our heads saying, why the hell is there not an EIN, then they're definitely saying it.
Okay, thank you so much. No, I really appreciate it. That's exactly what I was thinking. I mean, we just got to start it off again with a regular one EIN number all through the application.
Yeah, or maybe find another employer.
Okay.
Bye, DG. See you, buddy.
Really appreciate it, Jim. Have a good one.
You got it, man. Yep. All right. Well, this is episode 411 of the Immigration Answer Show. I'm Jim Hacking. It's nice to be with all of you. If you haven't yet, let us know where you're watching from. The waiting room is full, so as soon as people drop out, one little spot opens up. Oh, my Cardinal hat's in the picture. Oh, Maho gets mad when I'm messy with my background, so let me clean up a little bit. How about that? She doesn't like it when I have a mess back there. So I got to clean my shit up. Let's say hi to Graham. Hello, Graham.
Hello, Jim. Thank you for taking my call. I live in the UK. My girlfriend lives in Florida, and our aspiration is that we get married in Florida. She cannot leave the country because she's caring for her mother, and we're looking for the quickest and most cost-effective method of doing that, please. It's been suggested that there's the option of the K3, but then there's some negative thoughts towards that as well, is that that's not valid anymore. So how would you sum up our options, please?
So as we sit here today, there's nothing on file, no fiance case or anything.
Nothing.
And you're a British national?
I am, yeah.
And do you have ESTA? Have you ever applied for ESTA?
Yes, I've been to Florida. I've visited. We've met. Yes.
What about the idea of coming to Florida, hanging out for a couple months, and then getting married, or coming to Florida, getting married, and going right back home?
Yes, that either of those are an option. I'm due in September to visit for at least 3 weeks.
Yeah. So the whole thing that concerns me with that plan, it's a viable plan, but if you get into a conversation with a CBP official, they could get a little skittish about you coming to get married. They won't believe you that you intend to go back to America. So if I were to take that venture, I would make sure, obviously, that I have a round trip ticket. I would have a short window of a visit, 2 or 3 weeks. I wouldn't bring it up unless somebody asks, like, what's the purpose of your visit, or who you're going to see. You got to tell the truth no matter what. The most important thing, I would rather you tell the truth and not be able to enter America than not tell the truth and be allowed in, because then things are just going to get really complicated. So my gut tells me that I would take a shot at coming on ESTA as long as I'm prepared to be honest if asked about everything. And you really can't have that intention of staying. So if you have a job if you work and you have a job and you have to come back, then all that kind of stuff I'd bring in my backpack, but I wouldn't, again, be pulling it out right away, only if asked.
So if I could move my work, or I had the option of working over there eventually, I had no need to return to the UK. How would that affect my options, please?
Well, that would hurt. That would hurt in that discussion that I'm talking about having with CBP. Like the whole shooting match now is if you get stopped entering on ESTA, the whole shooting match is you being able to convince them that you have every reason to go back. Like, we'll let you in. Now there's also this idea that, why are you coming? I'm coming to get married. I'm coming to get married to my girlfriend. She's taking care of her sick mother. She can't come to the United Kingdom to marry me, so I came here to marry her. But I'm only getting married and hanging out, and then I'm going back to the United Kingdom, and then we're going to consular process. Like, there's an argument to maybe have a letter from a lawyer, or even like show that you have plans to get started once you get back, but just, again, only if asked, be upfront about the purpose of your visit. I think that either way it's okay, but the more you talk about marriage, sometimes you meet these officers who just can't think or don't believe you when you say, I'm coming to get married, but I'm leaving.
Okay. So I visit, get married, and then leave.
And then she files the I-130 petition to get things started.
And is there any mileage in using the K3 option?
No, that's all. The K3 will get approved by USCIS, but the State Department won't process it. It's allegedly it makes I-130s go faster, but I think that's a myth. I don't know that that's true.
That's great advice. Thank you, Jim.
Bye, Graham. See you, buddy.
Thank you.
Stay in touch. Let us know how it goes.
Will do. Thank you.
Awesome. I don't think we've had someone else with a tie on this show in a long time, so we're glad to see Graham got dressed up to talk to old Jimmy today, so that's always nice. All right. Bakar is here. What do you say, Bakar?
Hello, Jim. Thanks for having me. I'd like to shortly tell you about the situation. So, I'm a software developer living in Munich, Germany. Originally, I come from Georgia, the country. I'm considering the option of moving to the US. My dad recently got a green card from his job. He's been working at the US Embassy in Georgia. The thing is, he cannot take me because I'm over 21.
Yeah.
And I'm applying the green card lottery every year. So I'm also considering finding an employer in the US who would possibly sponsor my visa. The thing is, I want to somehow accelerate the process. So what would be the fastest options for me to consider to which way to go. And if my dad goes there next year, for example, how fast can he arrange the process of joining the family, like taking me there later after a couple of years, maybe, or a few years?
It's like 8 or 9 years, I think. I think it's a really long delay, these 7, 8, 9 years. So I don't think that's going to be really quick. Have you looked into, like, what is your occupation?
Software engineer.
So have you looked into finding a job with sponsorship? I know it's really hard from overseas, but have you looked into that?
Yeah, I'm considering that as one of the options. And one more question: does a country matter in that case? For example, I hear like the people from bigger countries like India and China have more trouble finding the sponsor for the visa because there are many of them already there. Because my country is relatively small with a small population, so would that increase somehow my chances?
I don't think that I mean, that's an employer by employer question, so I don't really know if that really plays into it. How old are you?
29.
How far did you go in school?
Namely,
Like, do you have a bachelor's, a master's? What do you have?
Master's degree from
I mean,
Technical University of Munich.
if you want to ask my opinion, before your dad gets his green card, if you can afford it, I would come to the United States to get a master's degree in something like another computer science degree, and then you could get 3 years of OPT, which means you'd have three chances of getting an H-1B, and that, I think that's going to be your best route to be here in the United States. But it's up to you. I mean, you could try to find employers like Microsoft, like Laura is suggesting, or Google, but I think the idea that they're going to hire someone sight unseen from overseas, I think that, and then sponsor them, I think that's a pretty big ask. And plus the H-1Bs for this year are already gone. They'd have to show there aren't any for the green card. They'd have to show there aren't any Americans who can do the job. So I just think it's really hard to negotiate a job which involves sponsorship from overseas. So which is why I was thinking about the student route, because then at least you get 3 years of STEM OPT and you get chances to find jobs and make connections and get sponsorship later on.
And what about, for example, if I start working for an American company from overseas as a remote, for example, and after a couple of years, would it be possible theoretically that they manage a transfer somehow or something like that?
Well, there are, if they have a local office and you're a manager or like a high level person, that might work. But if you're a general person, that's going to be hard to pull off. What you could do though is if they hired you and you told them you wanted to come to the United States, they could apply for an H-1B for you each year. There's a lottery for that too. So if you get selected, then you could, if this is the kind of thing the company does, transfer your employment location from Germany to the United States.
And in that case, how long would I have to work for that particular company until I get the green card and freedom to work wherever I want?
Well, I mean, that depends. That's a big, complicated question, because technically you could have the employer sponsor you for a green card from day one, and that whole process would take 2 years. But usually employers want to get some bang for their buck, so they want you to work in H-1B for a while, and then if they like you and are willing to spend the money, then do the green card. Most won't jump to the green card again, which is why it's hard to do this from overseas.
I see. And for this participation in the lottery, I've done it like 3 times already with no luck. Would that somehow interfere with my tourist visa to visit my family when they move?
The diversity visa is such a long shot that they don't hold that against you as having demonstrated immigrant intent.
I see. Thank you very much.
Bye, Bakar. But if your dad files for you, then that would prevent you from getting a tourist visa.
I see. Thank you.
Bye, buddy. All right. Our second Ibrahim of the day. What do you say, Ibrahim?
Hi, Jim. How are you?
Great.
Yes, my nephew won the DV lottery, and he went to interview in Cairo, Egypt, and he was denied, and we don't know why.
Like just this year, just like recently?
Yeah, this is just last week.
Well, he's only got a month and a half left. It was refused. What did they say? What did they say?
One of the things that they mentioned to him, say, hey, you omitted some information that you were in Saudi. He was born in Saudi Arabia, but he's from Eritrea originally.
Mm-hmm.
And you omitted that question. But the question really they were asking about is if, since you turned 16,
Mm-hmm.
what was your address? He was not 16 when he moved to Egypt. So we left.
They would have, Ibrahim, sorry, they would have given him a piece of paper, and that piece of paper would have had a basis for the refusal. What basis did they list on the refusal notice?
They did not, as far as I know, he did not get any piece of paper. He denied him. We keep asking him, hey, you were in Saudi Arabia, and he did not reveal that information. But he did, because he was born in Saudi Arabia. He showed them the birth certificate, and he went to middle school there. So he provided that information.
But he never lived there for more than 6 months after turning 16?
No, he did not. He was 15 when he moved to Egypt.
Well, I'd be happy to look things over. I'm surprised he doesn't have some kind of refusal notice, but if you want to connect me to him, I'd be happy to talk to him.
Okay, sure. We'll do that.
Okay.
Another quick question here. I applied for my brother in 2013.
Yeah.
This is for alien relative a petition.
Mm-hmm.
And I have not heard from them almost 10 years now.
Has USCIS approved the I-130?
I applied, and they say that I'm in a queue.
But there's two parts. There's USCIS and then the State Department. The first part is for USCIS to approve the I-130 and say, yes, we believe that you are Ibrahim's brother and that he's a U.S. citizen and he's eligible to sponsor you. Did they do that? And then they send it on to the National Visa Center and then the embassy. Have they approved the I-130?
I'm not sure about that, Jim, but I do have a piece of paper that was sent to me that I received the application, the petition that I put in, and I keep checking, and they said, "Oh, you're still in the queue." And
who says that? USCIS says that, or NVC
yes.
says that?
No, USCIS.
So it sounds like they haven't approved the I-130 yet.
Okay.
That's bizarre for 10 years. I mean, usually they take like 5 or 6 for a brother or sister petition. So that's strange, but they're still 4 years away. So I don't think you need to worry about it too much. So yeah, right now they're working on cases from 2007. So
okay.
So I don't think there's much to worry about right now.
Okay. So in terms of the my nephew, really, we just need to get the information, what paper they gave him.
Yeah, and he needs to hurry up because if he doesn't get his visa by September 30th, he's screwed.
Okay. So the other thing, he's a refugee, and they didn't say that. He's a refugee and he has been accepted by United Nations, and he doesn't have a passport. And in the application, it says that they might be able to provide him a document if they approve him. But that
sounds like too much work for them to want to pull this off.
Yeah. I think so. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe that's why they reject him, but they didn't say that, specifically. But they keep focusing on you were in Saudi Arabia and you didn't put it. That's a question he's been asked like 4 or 5 times. So
when they ask something 4 or 5 times, usually they have evidence of that. So I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. So I just sent him a letter, explaining. Maybe he didn't explain it clearly because he was 15. So I sent a letter, say maybe I explain on that letter. It says this is why we left this answer no, because he was under 16 at the time.
Maybe they don't believe how old his real birthday.
Yeah. So should we pursue that letter? Ask him to send that letter to them, see if they can give him a second chance.
You can try. I wouldn't get my hopes up. I don't think he's coming, but you can certainly try. I'd keep fighting.
Okay. So
bye, Ibrahim. Thanks, buddy.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Assalamu alaikum. All right. We are all immigrants is here. What do you say? We are all immigrants.
Hi, Jim. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Sure.
I have one main question and a couple of others, but I start with the main one and give you some backgrounds, and then we go from there. I need to know if I've ever incurred any unlawful presence since I got here into the States. Okay, the background is I came into the States back in December 2018 on an F1 visa. Went to school, graduated in May 2021. Before graduation, I applied for OPT. My OPT got denied because I actually submitted my or uploaded my I-24 OPT 5 days after I actually applied and uploaded my application and submitted my application online. So the denial came when the 60-day grace period was expired. So I fell out of status. So one of the options that I had was applying for reinstatement to F1. While I was working with attorney and ombudsman office and all these things to cure the OPT, but it didn't work after over 6 months. So I went to school again and I was waiting for.
Wait. Hold on. You skipped over the 6 months. How did it get to 6 months?
I actually applied. I mean, I was working with attorney to appeal the case, the OPT denial, and then.
So did the university terminate your CVIS record?
Yes, they
Okay.
did at the time. So
when did the CVIS record get terminated? Do you know?
I believe that was August 2nd, 2021.
Okay.
And then I applied for reinstatement. I was still working on OPT, but I applied for reinstatement and went to school. I submitted my reinstatement.
Wait, how are you working on OPT if you never had it?
No. I'm just. I was working with an attorney to cure the case, to cure the denial.
What? But while you started working before you ever had an actual OPT approval from USCIS, you went working.
Oh, no. Let me clarify. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
I was working with an attorney to cure the case. I was not working, actually. I was not getting paid.
Okay.
I returned an attorney to work on my case.
Yeah.
So, and we appealed the case twice. We were in touch with a USCIS office, attorney general or something like those lines.
And you just hung out in America and didn't do any work?
No, I didn't. I didn't work.
Okay.
And on October 1st, I submitted, before that, I got admission for, to new program. I went to school and I submitted my reinstatement I-539 to get back to school. So I was at school, my reinstatement to F1 still pending, and I was getting all this warning from other pro bono attorneys and university attorneys and international students office that it's not going to happen. They are not going to approve your reinstatement while I was still at school, because that's a requirement. You have to be at school while your reinstatement is still pending. So, and then I applied for asylum in late March 2022. Haven't heard yet since today. I mean, since that time, I haven't heard anything yet. And then my reinstatement got approved in late September 2022.
Okay.
And now I need to know if I've ever incurred any unlawful presence, because I was searching on that and I was getting contradicting information. I found some policy on USCIS website, and then I found another one that says the previous one is not partly valid. So I don't know if when the reinstatement got approved, it's kind of having retroactive impact of my lawful presence.
Why do you need to know?
Because I'm concerned that I incurred unlawful presence over a year, and it's going to be a bar down the line if I want to adjust status.
How are you going to adjust status?
If my asylum be granted.
So asylum cures any unlawful presence.
Okay, that's good to know. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
As far as whether you have in fact accrued unlawful presence, that's not the kind of thing that I can analyze on a phone call. I'd need to work up a whole timeline. I'd need to and I'm not offering to do that. I'm just saying I can't do that like a magic trick on the show. It's too important and it's too complicated. It sounds like usually with the reinstatement that cures problems with the falling out of status. But I can't guarantee it, and I would need to see everything. But at the end of the day, I don't know that you need it. I thought what you're going to say is that the reason you wanted to know is because you were hoping to be able to get like an employment-based green card or something, and that's a little trickier.
That was actually one of my questions. I wanted to know, because asylum is a big decision. You are giving up actually your homeland and visiting your
but you've
parents
already
again.
you've already made that decision. You've already made that decision because you swore under oath that it was deadly for you to go back to your home country. So even if you got an employment-based green card, you can't go back because then they're going to say you lied on your asylum application and keep you from being able to become a citizen. You've already made that decision.
Understood. Okay. And my last question is regarding delay lawsuit. Do you think that I have been waiting enough to file lawsuit for asylum that I have been waiting over a year and 5 months?
Well, here's what I'll say about that. So we've been filing asylum lawsuits again for the last 8 or 9 months, and we received 2 motions to dismiss, one in Tennessee and one in Pennsylvania, where the government is saying that 4 years isn't too long. So we're going to fight that back right now. But I definitely think that they would file a motion to dismiss on one that's only been pending since March of 22.
Okay. Thank you so much, Jim, for the information.
Good luck for everything.
Thank you.
All right. Masa's here. What do you say, Masa?
Hey, thank you, Jim. Hoping that you're doing well. Thank you for having me here. I'm gonna try and keep this quick. So I'm a legal permanent resident, and I got married in 2021. So I applied for a spousal visa for my wife in September 2021. So it's been about 2 years now since the process has been on. We've been through the different phases. We got documentarily requalified, but there's not been no interview scheduled at the embassy yet. Now I understand that because
what's the priority date?
it's September 2021.
Okay, and you understand about retrogression? Do you know how that all
Sure.
works?
Yeah. So I know that happened. I've been following the visa bulletin. So the thing is, I'm just trying to know my options, right? So I'm hoping that in October the dates are gonna be closer or maybe current. Then I'll just be patient and wait. But if that doesn't happen, I'm thinking about alternative ways, and I'm trying to see if I have luck. Because for example, I know my wife wants to go to school when she comes here. So I'm thinking maybe should we apply for her at the school so she can come on a student visa while we wait for that? Will that be denied because she already made an intent to immigrate? So I just wanted your advice on that. We've already tried the tourist visa last year. That didn't work, right? So I find that it's not fair, even though we can wait. We want to do it the legal way, but I mean, at least if she got a chance to come and visit. If not, I'm thinking maybe we can get a student visa so she can come and at least start a life here while we wait for the spousal visa to be ready. What do you think?
Are you ready?
Yep.
When can you apply for citizenship?
In 2 years.
I believe, based on what I'm seeing now, that it's going to take you becoming a citizen and her becoming an immediate relative for her to be able to come to the United States. I don't think there's going to be a significant jump in October. I don't think all of a sudden everything's going to get current. I think what we're actually talking about is 3 years from now, after Masa gets his citizenship and then upgrades his petition as the spouse of a U.S. citizen.
Wow. Okay.
And you answered your own question as far as I'm concerned, as it relates to the student visa route, because a student visa and a visit visa are technically the same thing when it comes to how they're interpreted in light of immigrant intent. So you actually, is Masa still here? I don't know. Is it me or is it him? Is it me? Julio, you can see me. Yeah, I think it's him. I don't know where he went. But anyway, Masa, if you're watching this later on the replay, I believe that the only way she's coming is when you become a citizen, and I think she's demonstrated immigrant intent by you filing the 45 or the immigrant visa petition, and so I don't think she's going to get a visit visa or a student visa to come to the United States. Hope that all makes sense. All right. Den is back. What do you say, Den?
Hey, Jim. So coming with you with another hypothetical question. A foreigner is married with a U.S. citizen, comes to the U.S. on a valid ESTA. The I-130 is pending, not approved. And for whatever reason, she has to stay. Can she file for the 485 before her ESTA expires? And if her I-130 gets approved, can she file for an 824 and the 485 before her ESTA expires?
There's no reason to file the 824. At that point, you would just file the 485.
Oh, okay. All right, so just the 45.
Yeah, but this is all hypothetical, and if this person is coming to the United States with that intent, that's a big problem. So if they decided towards the end of their 90 days, like between day 60 and 90, then that would probably work. But if they showed up and applied for a 485, like the third or fourth or 59th day after they were here, that would be a problem.
Okay. All right. Timing's essence. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Bye, Den. See you, buddy. You're listening to the Immigration Answer Show, episode number 411. My name is Jim Hacking. I'm an immigration lawyer. We have offices in St. Louis, San Diego, and Washington, D.C. If you're looking to hire an immigration law firm to help you, our firm in particular, to help you with an immigration case that you have, feel free to call us at 314-961-8200 or email us info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com. You can also reach us on WhatsApp at 1314-931-5599. That's a pretty slick WhatsApp number. I didn't know that was our WhatsApp number. If you're looking for free resources, I believe that pound for pound, we have more than any other immigration law firm in the country. We have our Facebook group with almost 10,000 people in there, immigrants and those who love them, talking about the immigration process, talking about delays at the service center, talking about delays at the embassy. You can spend all day in that Facebook group talking to other immigrants going through the process. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. We post new videos on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. And then, of course, we have the Immigration Answer Show. We've done 411 hours of the Immigration Answer Show. I love doing it. I miss doing it. When I don't do it, oh yeah, and if you have a minute and want to leave us a review on Yelp, we would appreciate it, because we've been getting pounded on Yelp because everybody on Yelp is in a bad mood. So with all that being said, thank you so much for being here. We'll be here for another 18 minutes, and I'm going to talk to Abdu next. What do you say, Abdu?
Hey, Jim, how are you doing?
I'm good.
Hey, boss. I like talking to you, and it's been always a pleasure to talk to you. So I have a quick question. I applied to my green card which is like marriage-based, and I applied to the full package, which is like the work authorization, the travel card, and this has been going since February of 2023, which is this year. So I've been trying to, contact the USCIS. I know that you mentioned before, maybe the expedite request, they do not really work as always. But today I called them and they said someone is working on your case since July 14th. So do you think, does that mean anything? Or I'm just, waiting until, and even she told me, I can see on the system that your interview has been waived and there is an officer working on your case since July 14th.
I don't believe anything that they say.
Okay.
I mean, inshallah, hopefully they're right. Hopefully someone's working on it. Hopefully your interview's been waived. That would be great. But I've had people get told their interview's been waived, and then they get an interview notice. I've had people get an interview notice and then be told their case has been waived for interview. So until you have the actual green card, everything else is negotiable. I'm not saying they're bad or lying or not being honest. I'm just saying that you can't put too much stock in it. All sounds good to me. Sounds like you're making progress. But don't be holding your breath is what I'm saying.
Even the work card, like the I-765 work card based on the marriage case, since like February has been almost like 7 months now, and I don't see like any updates, because I hear people sometimes like saying the work card is one of the fastest things they respond to, but still like they did not even do anything with it.
And we've had lots of people get their green card without ever getting their work card. So every case is different.
I would be happy with that.
Thanks, Abdu.
Thank you so much,
buddy.
Jim. Have a wonderful evening. Bye.
See you, man. You too. All right. Manik is here. What do you say, Manik?
Can I stop my camera?
I got it. I turned you off. I got you. What's up?
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to meet with you. I was waiting for a couple of shows just to say hi. Well, my case is a little bit unique. So let me explain what happened. So I have applied my N400 last year to 2022 on November, and I received my RFE last 2 days back. That RFE says that they are requesting for all these marriage evidence, like the file N400, I mean a tax file and all other stuff. But we don't live together for a long time. However, when I went to the immigration like an interview, I put by mistakenly I put that we live together, but I applied under 5 years rules. So like how I can deal with this kind of situation?
Okay, so where are you from originally?
I'm from Bangladesh.
When did you come to the United States?
I came on United States in 2013.
And what kind of a visa did you have?
I had a F1 status.
And did you graduate?
I did not graduate it.
How long did you go to school on your F1?
Almost 3 years.
And why didn't you graduate?
I did not graduate it because that time I had some issue with the financials. That's why.
Okay, so then when you stopped going to school, why didn't you go back to Bangladesh?
Well, that time I got married in 2016.
Okay, so when on the day that you got married, were you still in valid F1 status, or had your status?
I was a valid F1 status. Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so then did your spouse file the I-130 before you ran out of status on your F1?
No, I did not lose my F1 status until my converted to the I-485 approved.
How do you know that?
Because I was a student at that time.
You were still in school. Okay. All right, great. So where did you have your green card interview?
In Queens, New York.
And how did that interview go? Everything's cool. Interview went fine.
He was asking me that all this civic question and went fine. The system was pretty low, and he was asking me like few of the personal question, which means like you guys live together, and I said yes. And they were asking me that you guys have a child. I said no, because we don't live together at that time. But I think she got a child with a different father. So biologically, I'm not the father. So that's why I said I don't have any child. And
okay.
Now, yeah.
So what's the date of your marriage?
The marriage date of 2016 November, October 19th.
So October 19th, 2016, is that what you said?
That's correct, yes.
So since October, so that's 7 years ago, almost 7 years ago. In the 7 years that you and this person have been married, how many years or months total have you lived together?
2.5 years.
And when did that happen? Early on, later, middle, when?
Later.
But not now.
What do you mean?
Right now you don't live together, or you do?
No, not now. Like 2020, end of the 2020, we don't live together.
Why?
There's some issue in the personal issues. So he wants to move out from my house. So that's why.
Okay, so talk to me about the 751. When you filed the 750. Okay, so you're saying that. Okay, so you're saying that when you filed the I-130, on the day that you filed the I-130, were you living together or no?
Yes.
Okay, and on the day they approved on the day you went to your interview, were you living together?
That is, yes, yeah, that time was fine. My 751 was approved as well. That time we used to live together.
So you lived together from the time of filing until the 751 was approved?
That is correct, yes.
And when the 750, how long after the 750, who moved out, you or her?
She moved out.
How long after the 751 was approved did she move out?
751, I would say November. She moved out on November 2020. So a couple of months later on, or yeah,
A couple months after the 751 was approved.
right.
Okay. And so now when you applied for naturalization, did you listed it, you filled out the N400 as if you were both living together?
Right, because I have a couple of utilities billed together.
No,
Her primary
that's
address,
not the standard. That's not the standard.
okay, her primary address, some of the bills still come to my house. That's why I put together, because I don't know where she exactly lives.
Why
And
don't
she
you
has,
know where she lives?
right, so she moved out, and exactly I don't know. Like, I know the area, but I don't know exactly the address where she
Are you
lives.
still legally married?
Yes, we are still illegally married.
And why? Okay. So you're telling me, so you haven't had your naturalization interview yet, right?
I had my naturalization interview, and I went to there, and then interview went fine. And I mean, the like interviewers were asking me that all the civic questions, like 6 questions, reading and writing, and then after that he was asking me very cool way that, are you guys living together? Everything is fine. I said yes, and he was asking me, is there do you have any children? I said no, because I'm not a biological children. So that the
Okay.
match, I made it. Yeah.
When was that interview?
Interview went on July this year. I mean June this year, 20th.
And have you received a decision?
I have received an RFE.
And what does the RFE say?
The RFE says they're looking for the tax file, children birth certificate, marriage, any policies, insurance, and utilities bills. And
So you're fucked. You're totally screwed. You lied to them on the form, and you lied to them at your interview.
it was not intentionally though. It was like,
How could it not be intentional? How could it not be intentional? You typed up. Did you type up the answers on the N400?
Yeah, I get help through someone. Yes.
But you went to the interview by yourself.
Right.
And when they said, "What's your address?" you gave the address that was on your N400, right?
That is correct.
Okay, so they're on to you, and they're going to come after your green card because you lied on the N400 and you lied at your interview. You made it seem as if you guys were living together as husband and wife, but in reality, you don't know where she is, and you didn't tell the officer that, which was really dumb because the case was approvable if you hadn't lied. There was no reason to lie on the N400. There was no reason to lie. But now they're going to smell blood, and now they're going to come after your green card, I think.
Okay. So what should I do now? Like, what's the?
Well, I don't want to give you, like, I don't want to tell you definitively what to do, but if you were my client, we would have a long discussion about whether or not it makes sense for you to withdraw this N400. I can't tell you that on a phone call like this, but if I took a look at that RFE, I mean, for all you know, she moved out and she said, he only married me to get a green card. He's a scumbag. And I have this other boyfriend. We didn't ever really even live together for much time. You have no idea what's in your file. So they let you. So one trick I learned from one of the lawyers I used to work for, his favorite thing to do would be to set up a scenario where the witness lied to them. Like, in other words, he set a trap. So I think we have to assume that she has said bad things about you to immigration, that they brought you in and let you lie about them, and you gave it to him on a silver platter because you signed a form under penalty of perjury that was untruthful, and you were untruthful at your interview. You gave every impression that you were living together as husband and wife. They had you didn't even qualify it like you said to me, which is, I don't know where she is, right?
Right.
So there's a real question as to whether or not you should withdraw the N400. Maybe you should withdraw the N400 and tell them what you did so that later on, 5 years from now, you can apply for citizenship. But I think the fundamental problem is Now the question is, well, if he lied on his N400 and if he lied at his interview, then maybe the reason he lied is because the whole thing was BS. He was never really married. It wasn't a real marriage. She had a kid with somebody else, and they come after your green card.
So you are saying that even though I withdraw my N400, there is a risk to losing my 10 years green card?
Of course, because they're gonna be scratching their heads saying, this is interesting. We pushed back a little bit and said, hey, dude, send us some more marital evidence. And instead of sending us said marital evidence, he withdrew. And the biggest problem of all is we are shooting in the dark. We don't know where she is. That's not the biggest problem. The biggest problem is you lied on the N400 and you lied at the interview. The second biggest problem is we don't know what she said about you. We don't know what's in the file. And so we're in a world of hurt right now, and we're in a position of weakness, which is what I hate going into at USCIS. They have the upper hand right now, and you know what? They smell blood. They sent that RFE because they smell blood.
Well, I sent my RFE to Paul David.
Okay.
To your, yeah.
Okay.
And yeah. So.
Okay. So I'll take a look at it, and we can go from there.
So my timeline is September 9th. If you could just.
I'll talk to Paul today or tomorrow.
So should I send an email to you, or
if you send it to Paul, that's all you need to do for now.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks so much.
All right, we'll talk later. Wow. Now, here's something that's interesting, and I should do a video on this. A had a suggestion. A said, just stay low for 10 years as a PR, then they can't deport him. This is a myth. This is a myth that's going around the immigrant community that they only have 10 years to deport you. That is untrue. If they can show that you committed fraud in your application, they can put you in removal whenever they want. They can put you in removal 40 years later if they want. They can and they do. So don't be so sure about the safety in waiting 10 years, because they can always put you in removal. They can even after you get your citizenship, they can put you in removal, right? Because if they put you in removal, or if they go to take away your citizenship because you lied about something, then once they denaturalize you, then they put you in removal. So unless you're born in the United States, I guess in theory they can always put you in removal. I don't say that to scare people, but I say that to push back on this idea that there's safety. Now, I don't want everyone who's a citizen to start freaking out. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know why you may not be as safe as you think you are. That's what I'm saying. All right. Mune is here. What do you say, Mune?
Hey, how are you, Jim?
I'm great, buddy. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for taking me. I have a actually, I have two questions, but let me start with the first one. So I'm a permanent resident. I got my green card in 2013. So I came here, stayed 2 years and a half, almost 3 years. Then I moved back to my home country. I'm from Morocco. And for 5 years, I was coming here once a year. Okay. So that's the information that I got at that time, that in order to maintain your green card, you can't stay outside of the United States more than a year. So in July 2021, I came back and I stayed here for 2 years. I was going back to my home country, but for 1 month or 2 months, not more than that. So my question is, when can I apply for the citizenship? So what I understood is since once you go over 6 months, you have to do the duration from scratch. So my question is, am I eligible to apply for the citizenship? Or again, just to remind you, I came back in July 2021. Maybe July 21 is the starting point for me again, because I have to do duration from scratch.
So you raise an interesting question. Let me walk you through it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So once you get your green card,
my camera,
take off camera. I got you. I'll take you off. No problem. Okay. So here you go. So when you get your green card, there's two things to keep in mind. One is, how do I not lose my green card? That's question number one. Question number two is, how do I set myself up for success? How do I make sure that I'm eligible to apply for citizenship when the time comes? Those are the two main questions, okay? So by not being out of the United States for more than a year, you made sure that your green card stayed intact and valid. Okay, so that was a good thing. But if you take a trip outside the United States for more than 6 months to visit Chef Shawan, where I love Chef Shawan, or to visit Mykonos or any of those places, Fez,
Yeah.
any of those places, if you stay outside for more than 6 months, then yes, that there's a presumption. It's not 100% sure, but they sure treat it as pretty sure. There's a presumption that you've abandoned your residency for purposes of citizenship. So what I would say is, if so what you're telling me is your last long trip ended in June or July of 2021. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, I stopped this crazy, adventure, like coming here once a year, and I came back to reside here on July 2021, like 2 years ago, a little bit more than 2 years.
So since July of 2021, we haven't had any trips of more than 6 months.
That's correct.
So the time for you to apply for citizenship is 4 years and 1 day after you arrive. Now, I would just wait 4 years and a month after you arrived from the last trip of more than 6 months.
Okay.
There's a special rule. That's
Yeah.
a 4 year and 1 day rule. So if you came back on, let's say, July 1st, 2021, then we would say 22, 23, 24, 25. So end of July 2025 is when you would apply.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Clear. Very clear. Another question. So meanwhile, I'm applying for my wife. We got the I-130 approved. Everything is approved. We completed everything. So I don't know how they call that, but completed, documentary completed, and whatever.
Yep.
So you've been talking with one of with the participants, right? So what? Now I know that it's the timeline is so bad. But
what's the priority date on?
It's November 2021.
Yeah. So you're in the same boat he is. Unless there's a big jump in October, and I'm not confident that there will be. Unless there's a big jump in October, then you're in that exact state. You two should apply for citizenship together, and then notify the National Visa Center that you both became citizens, and then they'll upgrade your case. Because unless there's right now they're on 2017, so you're 4 years out. So I think that's going to be your best bet.
All right. So that looks bad.
Yeah. Sorry, man.
No, that's fine. Thank you so much, Jim, for your help. Appreciate it.
Bye, Moon. See you, man.
Bye-bye.
All right, everybody. That'll do it for today's show. We went a little over. Part of me sort of wanted to just keep going. But I'll be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. Central, episode number 412. Now, that waiting room was full when I showed up this morning or this afternoon. So if you want to be in the waiting room first, you should text the word show to 314-470-3300. And when my good friend Umra sets up the show for tomorrow on StreamYard, you'll get a text notifying you of the next time of the waiting room location. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow at 2. Have a great night. And I see all the little chatter going on. They can always deport you. If you're a citizen, it's a lot harder, but they can always look back. So this 10-year rule, I know exactly what A is talking about. I used to think that they followed the rules, but the thing is, there's all these exceptions to that 10-year rule, and they just figure out ways to get around it. So do not be confident that you're safe. I've had one client get denaturalized, and it's not fun. So have a good night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.